The Black Sheep Revolution. Why your difference is your destiny. Have you ever been called too much, too loud, too ambitious, too different? The family troublemaker, the one who doesn't quite fit in? I recently had the extraordinary opportunity to interview Ashley Clark, a visionary who has dedicated her life to helping people transform what once felt like their greatest liability, being different, into their most powerful asset. Ashley's revolutionary work, empowering those labeled as Black sheep, is transforming lives across the globe. She's not just changing individual narratives, she's sparking a movement that challenges generations of conformity and celebrates the courage it takes to stand apart. What makes Ashley's approach so powerful is her ability to see the potential in those society has often dismissed, recognizing that the very qualities that make someone stand out are precisely what make them irreplaceable. What struck me most about our conversation wasn't just Ashley's profound insights, but how they resonated with the truth many of us have felt but couldn't articulate. Sometimes being the misfit isn't a curse, it's a calling. Sometimes the very thing that makes you feel isolated is exactly what the world needs most from you. Sorry, Sid. Let's be honest. We've all felt that sting of being the odd one out at some point, that moment when you realize you're coloring outside the lines while everyone else seems perfectly content staying within them. The family gatherings where your questions make people uncomfortable. The workplace where your ideas are just a little too different. The social circles where you feel like you're speaking a language no one else understands. But what if I told you that discomfort, that feeling of not quite belonging, might actually be your superpower? What if the very qualities that make others label you as different are actually your greatest gifts? When someone calls you the black sheep, they're usually not offering a compliment. They're marking you as problematic, difficult, the one who makes waves. But Ashley Clark's perspective flips this narrative entirely. Being labeled a black sheep often means you're a free thinker, a risk taker, someone with the courage to question what everyone else accepts without thought. Your difference isn't your defect, it's your distinction, it's your destiny. Think about it. Every major innovation, every significant social change, every paradigm shift in human history came from someone who refused to follow the established path, someone who saw things differently and had the audacity to say so, someone who was in their time considered too much. Let me share something that illustrates this perfectly. Issa Rae, creator of The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, and later the Emmy nominated HBO series Insecure, grew up feeling like an outsider. The entertainment industry repeatedly told her that her stories, authentic narratives about Black women's experiences, weren't marketable, weren't universal enough, weren't what audiences wanted. But Issa didn't shrink herself to fit into Hollywood's narrow vision. She didn't wait for permission to be herself. Instead, she embraced her unique perspective. She took to YouTube, created her own content, and built a community around stories that the mainstream had overlooked. And what happened? She became one of Time's 100 most influential people. She opened doors for countless other creators who felt like outsiders. She changed the conversation about whose stories deserve to be told. She proved that authenticity isn't just personally fulfilling, it's commercially viable. All because she refused to shrink herself to fit someone else's expectations. This is what Ashley Clark means when she talks about breaking free from outdated mindsets and generational curses. Sometimes the very thing your family or community criticized you for, your outspokenness, your ambition, your refusal to settle, is precisely what the world needs from you. Consider Tristan Walker. As a Stanford graduate entering Silicon Valley, he was frequently underestimated and overlooked. But rather than trying to blend in, he focused on an opportunity others had missed. Mainstream grooming companies were completely ignoring the needs of Black men. When Walker approached investors with his vision for products specifically designed for men of color, skepticism abounded. Why focus on such a niche market? They asked, revealing their own limited perspective. But Walker knew better. He knew that millions of men were being ignored by an industry that should have been serving them. He founded Walker and Company brands and developed Bevel, a shaving system specifically designed for men with coarse curly hair. He built direct relationships with customers through transparency about his mission as an outsider innovator. The result? A multi-million dollar brand that challenged industry giants by centering marginalized consumers' needs first. Eventually, Procter and Gamble acquired his company, but he maintained its independent spirit and mission. Walker didn't succeed despite being different. He succeeded because of it. He saw value where others saw limitation. He recognized that his unique perspective wasn't a barrier to entry, it was his competitive advantage. This is what living life on your own terms looks like. It's not about rebellion for rebellion's sake, it's about having the courage to trust your own vision, even when, especially when it diverges from the well worn path. But let's be real. Embracing your black sheep identity isn't easy. There's a reason most people conform. Conformity is comfortable, it's safe. It doesn't rock the boat or raise eyebrows at Thanksgiving dinner. The fear of rejection is powerful. The desire to belong is fundamental to human nature. And when the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally make that love feel conditional on your compliance, well, that's a special kind of pain. I see some of you nodding. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's what Ashley Clark wants you to understand: those unhealthy bonds that require you to diminish yourself aren't protecting you, they're limiting you. And the rejection you fear might actually be the liberation you need. Kimberly Bryant's story exemplifies this perfectly. As an engineer in a field dominated by men, Bryant was already accustomed to being the only one in the room. But when her daughter showed interest in programming and found herself in the same position, often the only young woman and person of color in tech classes, Bryant saw a pattern that needed breaking. Instead of accepting this as just the way things are, she founded Black Girls Code. She created workshops nationwide specifically tailored for young Black girls using culturally relevant curricula led by women who looked like them. The skeptics were plentiful. Would girls, especially girls of color, really be interested in coding? Could such a specific focus really scale? Today, Black Girls Code has over 20 chapters worldwide and has trained tens of thousands of girls since its founding. Bryant has been named among Forbes' America's top 50 women in tech. More importantly, she's transformed the conversation about diversity in the tech pipeline globally. Bryant didn't just accept her outsider status, she leveraged it to create space for others like her. She turned what could have been isolation into community. She transformed her frustration into foundation. This is what it means to embrace your individuality unapologetically. It means recognizing that those who stand out, the so called black sheep, are often chosen to lead change, inspire others, and redefine what's possible. Now, I can almost hear what some of you are thinking. That sounds great for Issa Rae and Tristan Walker and Kimberly Bryant. They're exceptional people who achieved exceptional things. What about regular folks like me? But that's exactly the point. They weren't exceptional before they embraced their difference. Their willingness to stand in their truth is what made them exceptional. Your unique perspective, your questioning mind, your refusal to accept that's just how it's always been done. These aren't flaws to overcome, they're gifts to be developed. They're the seeds of innovation, of progress, of healing. Ashley Clark's message isn't about becoming famous or wealthy, though that might happen. It's about becoming fully, authentically yourself. It's about recognizing that the very qualities that made you feel like an outsider might be precisely what the world needs from you. Think about it this way: if you're the one who sees problems nobody else acknowledges, you might also be the one with solutions nobody else has considered. If you're the one who feels things more deeply than others seem to, you might be the one who can create art that helps people feel less alone. If you're the one who can't stop asking why, you might be the one who discovers a better how. Your difference isn't random, it's purposeful, it's essential, it's your destiny. But, and this is crucial, embracing your Black sheep identity doesn't mean rejecting your community or family. It means offering them the gift of your authentic self rather than the comfort of your compliance. Sometimes your willingness to stand in your truth creates space for others to find theirs. Your courage becomes contagious. Your example becomes permission. I've seen this happen time and again. One person decides to live authentically, and suddenly others feel brave enough to do the same. The Black sheep becomes not just a revolutionary, but a liberator. So, what does this mean for you, practically speaking? It means examining the stories you've been told about yourself, especially the limiting ones. Who decided you were too much? Who benefits from your smallness? What might be possible if you stopped apologizing for your existence? It means recognizing that the discomfort you feel when you're being authentic might not be a sign you're doing something wrong. It might be a sign you're finally doing something right. It means understanding that living life on your own terms isn't selfish, it's necessary, not just for your fulfillment, but for your contribution to the world. Because here's the truth: we don't need more people who fit perfectly into systems that were never designed to accommodate the full spectrum of human potential. We need more people willing to reimagine those systems entirely. We need the questioners, the dreamers, the ones who see possibilities where others see only problems. We need the Black sheep. Today, I challenge you to embrace your difference, not as a burden to bear, but as a gift to share. I challenge you to stand tall in your uniqueness, to speak your truth even when your voice shakes, to follow your vision even when the path isn't clear. Because the world doesn't just need another person who fits in, the world needs you in all your glorious, complicated, too much authenticity. So walk out of here today and ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid of being different? What would I create, build, or say if I embraced being the Black sheep? Then do that thing, say those words, build that dream. Not someday, not when you're ready, not when everyone approves, but now, because your difference isn't just your distinction, it's your destiny. And the world is waiting for you to claim it. Thank you.